Little things is that little things have the capacity to make a big difference. So this week someone sent me a list of little bloopers in the church bulletin that made a big difference, and here they go. Ladies' Bible study will be held Thursday morning at 10. All ladies are invited to lunch in the fellowship hall after the BS is done. Thursday night potluck supper, prayer and medication to follow. Irving Benson and Jesse Carter were married on October 24th in the church. So ends a friendship that began in their school days. The ladies of the church have cast off clothing of every kind, and they may be seen in the church basement Friday. Ladies, don't forget the rummage sale. It's a chance to get rid of those things not worth keeping around the house. Don't forget your husbands. And my favorite. This being Easter Sunday, we will now ask Miss Lewis to come forward and lay an egg on the altar. I wish I were there to have seen that one. Little things do make a big difference. In Hawaii, they call the little things the ukuli'i. Can you say that? Ukuli'i. The ukuli'i means you could see a little child and say, "Oh, you ukuli'i, you little cute thing," or a fly in the house, ukuli'i. Well, the Hawaiian proverb says, "Tiny is the flea, great is the irritation. Tiny is the flower, great is the fragrance." The power of little things. In our society, we seem to favor and focus on the supersize, the extreme, the gigantic, the big leaps. And yet, even a 26-mile marathon is made up of 9,000 individual small steps. Whatever these big things are, never should we underestimate all the combining steps that it took to get us there. This year, as a church, as a spiritual community, our focus is do greater things. And the book is based on the scripture in John that says, "Very truly I tell you, whoever believes in me," this is Jesus speaking, "whoever believes in me will do the works I have been doing, and they will do even greater things than these." In Unity, we believe this. We believe that Jesus was a master teacher, that what he accomplished, he said, we're here to accomplish the same thing. And what made him exceptional was perhaps he did it and we've not yet done that. But the goal is for us to do this and even greater things. So how do we establish great things in our life? Well, I take you back to when someone was asking this question of Jesus, who was master of great things. He replied, "It is likened to a grain of mustard seed, which a man took and planted in his field. The mustard seed is indeed the least of all seeds, but when it is grown, it is the greatest among herbs. It becomes a tree so that the birds of the air come and lodge in the branches of it." How do we establish great things in our life? He was saying that you establish them when you learn to take the mustard seeds of your life, the mustard seed moments, when we learn to harness the power of small things. The law of little things says, a small thing repeated every day will yield great things. A small thing repeated every day will yield big results. One writer said, "Little stones make big mountains. Little steps cover miles. Little acts of loving kindness give the world its biggest smiles. Little words can soothe big troubles. Little hugs can dry big tears. Little candles light the darkness, and little memories last for years. Lifetimes are made of many little moments, many choices, many actions, many habits. Repeated, and like the tiny mustard seeds planted every day, they are creating the tree of your life. Don't let greatness pass you by trying to accomplish only the big things. but realize it is stitch by stitch, step by step, life is created with the little things. Mother Teresa, who many of us admire for her works, said, "Be faithful in small things, for it is in them that your strength lies." A small thing repeated every day will add up to produce big results. Now, it's easy to underestimate that because sometimes, has any of you ever looked at a big task and just your brain said, no, I just can't, I cannot do that? Anybody? We've all done that. We look at, it's like, there's no way I can tackle this. But the saying is, the greatest contributing factor to failure is inaction. We're afraid to take any action because we don't see at this point in time how it's going to make a difference. When I was in seminary, after every 10 weeks we had a break, and this particular spring I went home to North Carolina for a couple of week break. And while I was home, a good friend of mine invited me to come over and do some yard work with her. That had been a harsh winter in North Carolina. She'd lost a lot of her plants, and she said, "I'm going to be working in the yard, planting, putting in some azaleas. Would you like to come over?" Well, for me, yard work is therapy. So I thought that would be a great thing. I said, "Sure, I'll be there." She has a beautiful cedar home on several acres. Her place looks like a picture out of Better Homes and Gardens. She has her own rooting beds. And so I drive up that Saturday morning and I get out and I saw a sea of pots. She said, "I've got about 132 azaleas we're going to set out today." I thought, oh Lord, I thought maybe we were talking about a dozen. I saw 2 shovels in all those pots, and I thought, there is no way in the world. What does she think? I am a mule? There's just no way we're going to get this done. So we talked a little bit, and I thought, well, okay, we'll see. So we started, and she went in one area, and she put me in another area, and they were little plants, and the ground was soft, so you could dig and put them in. And I'd plant a few, and I'd look, and then I'd look at all those pots, and I'd plant a couple more, and I'd get up, and I'd look at all those pots and how few I did. And after about an hour and a half, she said, "I got a little snack. You want to come over and get some water?" And we sat down, and I went to her area, and she had planted a pile of them. Looked over at my area, and I said, "How did you do that so fast?" And she said, "Well, I noticed I'm planting and you're gazing." And she's right, I had been fretting. There's no way in the world we're going to sell out all these plants. Well, we did. By like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we had them all done. And sometime during that day, the scripture about the power of mustard seed, it dawned on me. I would have never thought it was possible. But she knew that it was. Step by step, we get there. And yet so often, we're afraid to take those little steps. Herein lies the magic of small steps. Even the minutest of these, the smallest increment, can do remarkable things. That's the good news. The bad news is that it can be hard to take such steps seriously. Lacking the grand sweep of dramatic gestures and bold acts, the small steps somehow seem trivial, inconsequential, perhaps even boring. Yet little habits build big results. Did you know that if you add 1 can of soda to your diet every day, just a little thing, just 1 can of soda, at the end of the year, you want to guess how many pounds? 15. If you want to drop 15, eliminate 1 soda every year. Running the water in your household while you all brush your teeth wastes water. You want to know how much? At the end of the year, you could fill a swimming pool. A little thing. 15 minutes of prayer and meditation every day, just 15 minutes equals over 90 hours at the end of a year. Those things that we take for granted because they're so little, we don't do them. The power of the little things is the power of time, the power of now. Whatever is done in any point in time is done in all eternity. Whatever we're doing, I said, I'm going to write a book that's titled What We Do. Because it's what we do. It's what we do that makes the difference. What do we do with our moments?